everyone, welcome back to Think Outside the Board and the Crowdfunding Roundup, the video series in which I look at all of the board games that launched on crowdfunding the previous week, and then I give you my picks, and we look at those together, we watch some videos, and I assess the risk of those campaigns to some degree, especially the ones that require it the most. If you're enjoying the content on this channel and this series, please consider liking and subscribing. That is the best way to support this channel and to help me launch the content that I have planned to launch later this year, including my revamped teach and review series and live streaming of board games, including solo games, medium light to heavy Euros and strategy games, and story-based and narrative exploration-themed board games, including campaign games, legacy games, and dungeon crawlers. I'm also going to be appearing live on Gaming Rules with Paul Grogan on July 2nd in celebration of his getting 900 Patreon supporters. He's going to be doing a quiz-type show with me and some other content creators that will stream live July 2nd at noon U.S. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 8 p.m. British Standard Time. I have 10 different campaigns that I'd like to share with you and take a look at today. And as always, my videos are tabbed, bookmarked, so you can scroll over the play bar, go right to the content that you are looking for. And if there is a campaign or specific content that strikes a chord with you, you can go down into the description section, click on the link, and it will take you right to that campaign. Without any further ado, let's get started with the first game that we'll be looking at today. This is called Inventions, Evolution of Ideas by Vital Lacerda, and this is being published through Eagle Gryphon Games. Okay, so if you don't know Vital Lacerda, he is a designer of heavy board games, usually worker placement games, and he's probably my favorite board game designer working today. Probably it's a tie between him and the main team. That would be Victor, Peter, and Richard Amon working over at Mind Clash. So this is the new Vital game coming from Eagle Gryphon Games. And let's take a look at the video and then we'll look at the pledge. There's only really one pledge to be concerned with.
In Inventions, players take on the role of societies, competing and collaborating across time to pontificate, invent, innovate, and share ideas that will shape the world. At the start of the game, players draft 3 goal cards to guide their gameplay. The Connected Regions goal grants ingenuity points for having citizens in contiguous map regions. The Inventions goal scores points for having been the inventor of era-specific inventions, and the Influence goal grants players ingenuity points for having influence tokens on depicted map regions. While players will only choose 2 to score, the game's challenge is in balancing the actions needed to achieve these goals. The main board consists of an assembly divided into 5 forums. Each forum contains 2 related actions. Players use one of the 3 pillars to mark a single chosen action every round, but are limited to selecting actions in forums where they do not currently have a pillar. With this limitation and only 13 main actions in the game, success depends on being able to access actions indirectly by triggering bonus actions and chain actions. Chain actions are additional full actions that players can take after certain main actions. The action the player takes determines what chain actions are available to choose from. Chain actions are located on Inventions on the region displays and to the left of the player board, knowledge tiles on the board, influence tokens on the map, and progress tiles. Taking these extra actions can trigger additional full actions, resulting in a chain. Players are limited in how many chain actions they take by the number of chain tokens they have available to spend. The number of available chain action tokens is dependent upon the player's influence. The path to sharing inventions with the world takes more than one brilliant mind. Players can take an action to present an idea, which allows them to place an idea card and citizens in a region display and gain bonuses. Another action allows players to invent an idea by placing a citizen of the corresponding card type in the invent spot. The card is flipped and ready to innovate or share. The collaboration limitation requires the inventor and sharing citizens to come from different players, so societies must work together to yield the bonuses of shared inventions. To support the invention process, players will claim technological milestones that will advance their society and allow them to enroll more scholars in their academy. To invent an idea, players must have access to the associated milestone. This means it is in their personal display, it is in the common knowledge display, it is in an opponent's display and the player's citizen is on it, or it's from a past era. Players develop their society boards by placing progress tiles to earn valuable opportunities for passive bonuses, extra actions, and endgame scoring. Culture tiles are gained during the travel action and make actions stronger. Economy tiles are gained during the Call Specialists action and provide one-time per era bonuses. Technology tiles provide chain action opportunities that can be used once and are obtained as part of the invent action. Wealth tiles are gained by players who share inventions and grant endgame ingenuity points. The sixth era is reserved for endgame scoring, where players earn points for endgame goal cards, wealth tiles, and position on the influence track.
Alright, so that is maybe a little more information than you actually needed about Evolution of Ideas in terms of the gameplay at this point in time, but it still gives you a look at the mechanics and the components and things like that. So, let's kind of go backwards and take a look at some of the funding stats here. This campaign had a funding goal of $100,000. They're currently cresting over $600,000, or will be shortly. This campaign launched on June 15th, and it is set to end on July 9th. Now, if we go down and we look at the pledges themselves, we can see that they're planning on delivering this in February of 2024. And scrolling through the pledges here, we can see that there's the first pledge here, just to be in the campaign so that you can later on jump into the pledge manager and back things. And from there, everything else is the same. It just depends which language you want. So they've got an English pledge here for $129, Japanese edition, etc., etc. There was this first wave only. It looks like there are still some left at this rate, but this is just going to get you the game a little bit earlier. That means you'll be receiving it about a month before everyone else, but to do that, you're going to be paying pretty much double the price. So it's, you're overpaying quite a bit. The shipping is already included in this $249 price. But even with that, you're paying almost double the price of the game to get it a month early. So I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you have money to blow and you are a huge fan of Lacerda and Eagle Gryphon games and simply want to support them. You can see that I actually pledged already for the German edition of the game, so I'll need to fix this later and pledge for the English edition because I do want my copy in English. I'll do that later. But this is the only game that we're going to be looking at today that I actually am backing. And there are no campaigns today on GameFound. Everything is on Kickstarter, except there is one project that we'll be looking on at Backerkit. So if we just kind of scroll over the page here, there's no actual add-ons or anything like that with this campaign. So if you're backing this, you are getting everything. Actually, there's one exception to that. They do give you a signed decal signed by Lacerda that you can get as an add-on and slap it on your copy. So let's see, if I scroll down, here it is. If you want this hand-signed and numbered signature decal, you can always add that on for $12. But other than that, the game is already, deluxeified. You're getting everything just by pledging the game. So as I mentioned, it's $129 no matter which copy you're backing. And let's see, shipping here in the continental US is $18, which means this pledge is going to be $147 all in. So that's the first campaign today. A Wonderful Heavy Euro, the latest by Vital Lacerda. And from there, we're going to go to campaign number 2, which is Crystallo expansions, Untold Fortune, and Den of Dragons. Now, this is for an abstract puzzle game that came out a couple of years ago called Crystallo. It was designed by Liberty Kiefer, and she had some issues with the publisher, but as far as I know, that has now been resolved, and smoother sailing lies ahead, and she's back with a couple of expansions for this. Now we can see they had a funding goal of $7,700 for this campaign. They're currently at $16,000, so they are funded as well. This campaign also launched on June 15th, and as we can see, it's going to end on July 14th. One other thing that I didn't mention, this is a solo puzzle game. So it's an abstract game, it's a puzzle game, but it is a one-player solo game. Let's take a look at the video, and then we'll take a look at the pledges. You know, I don't always highlight every independent designer. I just can't. And there are a lot of independently created campaigns that are not that polished. And, you know, I'm trying to guide my audience to the polished games. And this is the kind of game that I'm really excited about because it gives me the opportunity to highlight and support, you know, a smaller independent designer who's actually made a really good, well-designed, cool, fun game. So it brings me great joy when I can highlight a campaign like this and really get behind an independent designer. Here we've got a base game, 2 new expansions, and 3 pledges if you're not including the, you know, get into the Pledge Manager pledge. So we've got the Fortunate Dragon right here for $18. This is both of the new expansions. The 2 expansions are listed here, $18. That also includes the print and play files. This is everything shiny and new, which includes both expansions, and you're getting a playmat for this pledge, and the Pocket Edition, and an adventure log notebook. Now, this one has a shipping cost of $7, so $42 total on this. Also the print and play files. And then if we go to the 3rd and highest pledge level, it's the Cave of Wonders for $55. That's also going to include the base game. So the base game, both expansions, the playmat, the Pocket Edition, and the notebook and print and play files. And let's see, the shipping on that one is $12, so that's $67 with shipping, continental US. And they do list other things here as add-ons. So if you just want to get additional copies of the base game, $20. The Pocket Edition, $12. The playmat, $20. The adventure log notebook, $7. So, you know, it's always possible to back at a cheaper pledge price and then just add on the things you want if you don't want everything that's in the higher pledge prices. Like maybe you don't want the Pocket Edition. Now, this new Crystallo campaign is going to deliver in January of 2024. And we're going to keep moving along to the third campaign of the period, which is called Beverage. Beverage is also a worker placement game. This one launched on June 18th. This is actually a re-implementation of a previous version of the game that just didn't look quite as pretty. Both of these versions were being done by Japanese publishers, so you still are going to have quite a bit of shipping on this because it is coming from Japan. So it's a much nicer, pretty version than the original version, but you're going to get dinged on the shipping if you're in the US. So let's take a look here at the funding stats. Their goal was about $10,500. They're currently sitting around $12,500, so this is funded. And the campaign's going to end on July 9th. Now, we'll take a look at the video here and then look at the two different pledges that are being offered and the add-ons. Alrighty, so that is Beverage. And let's take a look at the pledges. So the first one here, $53. That is the base game with expansions and unlocks. And then the complete edition is $78. If we want to include shipping, let's do that. Here we go, North America. And this is, like I said, this is still a Japanese company. A little deeper pockets than the company that published the previous lo-fi version, but still a newer publisher, Ovation. And $53 for the base game with the expansions and unlocks, and in the continental US, $20 in shipping means this will be $73. If you're looking at the complete set, then it's $78 plus $23 in shipping for a total of $101. All right, so let's take a look and see what you're going to be getting with those two pledge levels. If we go up here, you can kind of see everything that's in this $53 box. You got this vending machine coin holder, the board, some screen printed tokens and things, cards, yada, yada, yada. And then the Kickstarter exclusive. So there's an expansion board for the track, components for a 2-player mode. All right, and then, so that's in all versions. But if you're getting the special complete set, you're also going to be getting some other things. You will be getting 5 stickers, 5 real coasters, and a game mat. And let's look down in the add-ons. So the game mat on its own is $21. So if you're kind of considering these two pledges, 53 plus 21 is 74, which means you're also getting these coasters and stickers. You're essentially getting both of these for an additional $4 over the playmat. So that's kind of the extras, and that's your savings. But if you don't want the coasters or the stickers, you could always consider just backing at this cheaper level, throwing in the game mat for $21, and you'll get the mat and the game itself slightly cheaper than you would for the complete special kit that comes with the coasters and the stickers. But there's not a lot of extras for this, in the complete set that are related to the game, even upgraded components. You're just paying for the game mat, the coasters, and the stickers, and the coasters and the stickers obviously aren't gameplay related. Anyway, Beverage is going to deliver in November of 2023, so very quickly, and I believe this is all produced and done, and because there's not a lot of, stretch goal extras and things like that, there's probably not more they need to actually produce. One little thing you should note about this game, if you're considering backing it, though, is this player count, which it's right here, but it's being blocked by the play bar. But it is a player count of 3 to 5 players. So just know, if you're backing this game, you cannot play the normal game with 2 players. However, remember we saw this, meaning that the game down here does have a 2-player mode. It's just going to be a variant. It will just be changed a bit from this player count for the main game. And that brings us to campaign number 4, Escape from Projekt Riese. This one launched on June 19th. They had a funding goal of $26,500. They're currently at $48,000, so this is also well funded, and the campaign is going to end on July 7th. Let's take a look down here. It is slated for delivery in May of 2024. Now, this is a newer publisher. So one of the reasons that I am highlighting it in this campaign is that their previous campaign, Raybox Games, Spanish company, probably means we're going to be paying a little bit more shipping in the US for this. Okay, so their previous game here, Escape from Stalingrad Z, is just finished delivering, or it's delivering right now. And word is coming in on this one. And let's see. Here, Escape from Stalingrad Z, as we can see, it's got 60 ratings, and right now it's at a 9.0. So people are liking their most recent game here, and it's similar. It's also kind of a war game, miniature game with a zombie theme to it. And so the fact that they just produced this game and it's landing pretty positively is one of the main reasons that I'm covering this new campaign, Escape from Projekt Riese. But I do want people to understand that this is a newer publisher. Okay. So let's take a look at the video, and then we'll look at the 4 different pledges and the add-ons here.
Your mission is a simple one. Rendezvous and rescue. Paratron outside the Riese facility. Rendezvous with the Resistance. Grab Dr. Hazelman. Grab the cure and get out. Be prepared, lads. This could be a bit of a sticky one. It's not just Jerry. There will be ghouls and machinations to tend to as well. All the allies are in on this one. That just shows how serious this little show is. Getting inside will be the first task at hand. Watch out for Nazi experiments and tests. Gather any information you can. You Yanks, don't get trigger happy too quickly. You will have a better go at it if you keep it quiet for as long as possible. The Nazi boffins may have dreamed up some governs that can make your job easier. Grab what you can and destroy everything else. You will have no backup and no resupply. Once you are in, you are on your own. But not to worry, the extraction will be straightforward, so long as you stick to the timing. You will need to bring all of your skills, equipment, and knowledge to bear. Adapt as necessary. Innovate as required. Overcome as expected. There is more than one path to success. Whatever it takes, chaps. There is no room for failure. And one more thing. If you are wounded, save the last bullet for yourself. You don't want to fall into their hands alive.
All right, so if it wasn't obvious from the video, this is a solo or co-op game with tactical combat and miniatures. Now let's go down here. We'll take a look at the various pledges. So we've got your get into the pledge manager pledge here for $1. Then we've got this Escape from Projekt Riese digital only. So this is just a digital pledge, PNP. So this is the first real pledge, in my opinion. It's a smaller version of the game, not as kind of expansive. They're calling it a travel set. So this is about $35, And let's see, in the USA, $15 for shipping. It's going to bring the total here to about $50. If we go down a little further, we see the actual kind of base game now. That's $58 plus shipping, $20, so $78 for this pledge. If we go down to the next one, we've got the deluxe set. Now this is $149 plus $29 in shipping, so you're looking at about $178 for this pledge. And then finally, you've got basically the deluxe pledge here from Projekt Riese, but then you've also got the deluxe version of that previous game that I mentioned, Escape from Stalingrad Z. So this is essentially getting you 2 deluxe games, and this is a pledge of $318 plus shipping of $39, so a total of about $357. Now let's go up and look at the content here so we can kind of distinguish the differences in the various pledges. And we also want to take a look at the add-ons as well, because there are some things, quite a few things, that are not included in any of the pledges. And if you want those items, you're going to need to add them on. All right, so we've got that print and play set for the cheapest pledge price, the one that I wasn't even really counting. Then you've got this travel set, which includes the rule book, scenario book, player reference aid, 2 punch boards, and a P&P set. So, this is kind of halfway between a P&P and a physical game. You've got some of each, and it's designed to give you more a taste of the game. Then you get into this box set. This is what I was calling the second pledge, and this has everything, without all of the upgraded components and the extras. But you can see here what you're getting. If we go down here, you can see you're getting more miniatures, and you're getting some extras, right? So we can see here the game includes 28 miniatures at this level instead of 4, 9 double layer character dashboards instead of 8, so you're getting a bonus character. You've got a custom box slipcase that isn't coming in this previous version. You've got a miniatures box with foam storage. Again, you're not getting that in the previous version. Let's see, what else is different? I believe that's about it. But so those are kind of your upgrades from one to the other. And then the final pledge here is going to include the deluxe version of both games. Now, if we go down a little bit further, we're going to see some add-ons that are not in any pledges. So we've got these add-ons. You've got the Stalingrad Zombie Outbreak miniature set. Anything that says Stalingrad is going to be from the previous game. So this is all of the miniatures for this Escape from Stalingrad Z. So you can add on the game, you can add on the miniatures for that, and then they've got this Arena Battles PvP mode. So this is an additional thing, and this is not included in any of the pledges. So if you want this, you'll need to add that on. And then all of these are extras as well. So you've got a boss zombie, an advanced zombie, the beta zombie, some hero characters. And obviously, if you were to add on everything, this is going to bring your pledge $110 higher than what you were at previously. But those are things that you'll need to add on if you want them. They're not included in any of these pledges already listed. And finally, we can see that this is planning on delivering or being delivered in May 2024. So this one's a year out. All right, that takes us to campaign number 5. And this is another smaller publisher, first-time designer that I wanted to highlight. This game's called Ovation. There's not even a video here at the top of the page. There's one lower, so we'll take a look at that. And again, I like to highlight, newer designers, up-and-coming designers, independent designers whenever I can. And this is a first-time designer, first-time publisher. So you just have to keep in mind with that, there is more risk involved. This is someone who hasn't seen a design through to being published, and a designer / publisher who has not produced a game before, hasn't dealt with any of those issues, and hasn't dealt with the supply chain things that you'll be dealing with when you're specifically kickstarting something and having to deal with shipment and production and stuff like that. So there is a higher risk in this one, but you're making someone's dreams come true, so take that into account. Finally, this fledgling publisher designer here is out of New Zealand, so I'm assuming there's going to be some higher shipping rates when we get to those. But before we do, let's take a look at the campaign and how it's being run so far. So there is a $12,500 funding goal. They're at $13,500, so they are funded already. And the campaign is going to run until July 21st. Here we see Looking Glass Workshop, first created, first project. And if we look down a little bit further, we can see that they're aiming to deliver this one in December of 2023. So I believe there's just one pledge for this too. Other than, follow along, print and play, a retailer pledge. Really, it's just this pledge here if you're looking for a single copy of the game. So it's going to be $47. And let's see how much we get dinged in shipping here in the continental US on this one. $18, so that'll bring this pledge to 65 total. And I don't think that there's extras. I think this is just, they're just trying to get the game made, which is probably a good thing. You don't want to throw in too many extras on a first campaign. Okay, so yeah, there's not much else for us to look at in terms of add-ons. It's just going to be simple if you decide to back this, but let's finish this out with a look at a gameplay video so you can see what this is going to look like and play like.
Players will take on the role of famous composers from the European Age of Enlightenment. Players will be seeking inspiration, fortune, and patronage in order to perform great works of music. As the game progresses, players will be able to slot cards above their player board, which represent them growing in skill and acclaim and will help them do more and more each turn. On a turn, the active player will place their composer figure on one of the 4 actions listed on their player board. These actions are Seek Inspiration, Seek Fortune, Seek Patronage, and Perform Music. On the keys of the piano on your player board, you will track the amount of inspiration you have in joy, sorrow, and passion. When you take the Seek Inspiration action, you will gain 2 inspiration of one type, or you can gain 1 inspiration in 2 different types. The rest of the action types will involve the cards in the center of the table. When taking the Seek Fortune action, you can take any card from the row of fortune cards by paying resources equal to what is printed in the bottom left of the card. These cards will show an action type in the top left of the card, and when you gain this card, you slot it in above your player board above the indicated action type. Any cards above your player board can be triggered as a bonus when you take the indicated action by using your music tokens. These bonus actions may give you additional resources, allow you to gain discounts, take other actions on the same turn, and more. The only catch is you must place a music token on each bonus action you wish to activate, so you have to perform music to gain more. The next action is to seek patronage. Here you'll pay resources shown in the bottom left of the card and then add that patron to your player area. Patrons come in 2 forms. Patron financiers will be slotted above your board. Over the Seek Fortune action, they will provide bonuses when taking that action in the future. The other type of patrons are legacy patrons. Legacy patrons will go to the left of your player board and they will help you gain or lose points at the end of the game based on the type of music you perform, whether that be based on their tone of music, the instrument itself, or the type of performance. The final action type is to perform music. There are chamber music pieces and the larger, more grand concert music pieces. When performing either, you'll be required to spend specific amounts of certain types of inspiration. At the top left, you'll see the tone or tones of the piece, whether it be joy, sorrow, or passion, and either the type of instrument that is featured in the piece or the type of performance it is in the case of concert music, whether that be a symphony, mass, or opera. Note that to perform concert music, you will often have a prerequisite based on another piece of music you performed. When performing a piece, you'll get to take the card, which will score you some legacy points shown on the top right of that card at the end of the game. You will also get to make use of any bonus actions you have above the perform music action, and every time you perform music, you will gain an additional music token, allowing you to take more bonus actions each turn in the future. When performing music, the players to your left and right can attend your performance and they will gain any inspiration symbols shown on the top left of the music card you are performing. When other players come to your performance, however, the performing player will gain a ticket, and 2 tickets of the same type of inspiration can be turned in to gain that inspiration for free, or tickets can be saved and every 2 tickets is worth a legacy point at the end of the game. Players will take turns going around the table, building up their skills and abilities to build up combo-heavy turns. There are Maestro cards that can be gained as a free action by achieving specific goals, and when only 2 of those cards remain on the table, the last round is triggered and players will get equal turns. At the end of the game, players will score points for the legacy points listed on all of their collected cards and perform music. They will then check their legacy patrons and either gain or lose points based on what they wanted. Finally, players score 1 point for every 2 leftover tickets and legacy points for any gained Maestro cards, and the player with the most legacy points wins.
All right, so first of all, a couple things I missed. This campaign launched on June 19th, And if it isn't obvious from the video, you're mainly dealing with contracts in this game, and obviously engine building. I really like that kind of mechanic where you get different kind of cards, you slot them in, and you build up this engine so that as you take actions later in the game, you have more powerful actions. And, I'm a heavy gamer. I like really heavy games. And when I do play later games, I just want to have good choices. And so it always brings me joy when I find something lighter that still has some good strategy to it and some good choices to be made so that you can still be really involved as you're playing the game. And I think, we've got a few of these today. That was Ovation. And next we're going to be looking at another lighter game. It's called Dog Park. This is an expansion campaign called New Tricks, and this one is a bidding and set collection game. So it's rather, simple mechanically, but for people who like exploring, various worlds like birds with wingspan or nature in the myriad of games that are out there, or maybe something like cats with the cat lady, you've got Dog Park. So it has lots of different dogs that you're going to be dealing with and collecting. Let's take a look at the video, and then we'll look at the 3 pledges and the add-ons for this one.
Welcome back to the world of Dog Park, where your business as a local dog walker is booming. In Dog Park New Tricks, there are more dogs to walk, including rescues. And you've hired a specialist trainer to help you expand your enterprise. With your trainer's help, all the pups in your kennel have the potential to learn exciting skills. And even old dogs can learn new tricks. And you'll need all the help you can get. With more locations to explore, the park can now accommodate up to 5 walkers. Plus, the multi-breed pups will keep you on your toes, with new abilities and effects on strategy and scoring. New Tricks features 60 multi-breed dogs, screen-printed wooden trainer meeples, quality linen finished components throughout, and much more. Dog Park New Tricks will be launching on Kickstarter in June 2023.
All right, so there was a funding goal for this of $13,000. They're at $110,000, which is really high, I think, for this game and this publisher. It's a newer publisher, but I think this is kind of a testament to the wingspan formula and how much people like dogs. All right. So we've got 3 different pledges, really, if you're not counting, the pledge manager one. You've got this New Tricks expansion that's just for the new expansion. This assumes that you already have the base game, and you're looking at $34 for this pledge plus shipping, which is going to be in the continental US here $10, so $44 total. Now, if you pledge this one, $39, you're getting not only the New Tricks expansion, but also the Dogs of the World expansion pack. And that's also going to be a $10 shipping fee, so $49 for this in the continental US. And if you don't have the base game, you're trying to go all in, this will give you the base game plus all of the new stuff. And with shipping, this one's going to be $110. So let's look at content-wise what you're getting in these 3 pledges. All right, so here is New Tricks. This is what you're getting in the first pledge. You've got 60 unique dog cards, this new trick board, some tokens, cards, these meeples, game trays, storage system here, all that stuff. And this includes 5th player components. So this expansion will also allow you to bring your player count to 5. Right? And that's the pledge here, just for New Tricks. And if you do the second pledge here, you're getting the New Tricks expansion plus the Dogs of the World pack right here. All right. So here is that collector's edition. This is the $110 one with shipping that includes everything. So this is what that looks like. You get the base game with it, and you also get these 2 other packs that were available previously, Famous Dogs and European Dogs. Now, one really cool thing is that New Tricks has a collector's upgrade pack, so these components you'll be getting in any of the pledges because all of the pledges include this new expansion. So you'll be getting all of that stuff. And let's take a look here as if I was going to pledge it, just to make sure there's nothing that I'm leaving out in the collector's edition. So if we do this, you can see everything that's involved. So you've got the new expansion, new tricks, you've got the expansion pack, you've got the original game, the collector's edition version of the original game, and then you've got the Kickstarter exclusive backer bundle and that upgrade pack for new tricks. And that is everything. That is everything for Dog Park. And Dog Park's going to be delivering here in March of 2024 is the date they're shooting for. All right, that brings us to campaign number 7, which is for Eldfall Chronicles Northern Wind. And this is, I think, got some more risk associated with it than a lot of the campaigns that we look at. And the reason why is that this is a newer publisher and this is a miniatures game. So there's kind of a lot going on production-wise. But so if I type it correctly, here we can see that the original version of the game, Eldfall Chronicles, this is delivering like right now. So this is starting to have some good ratings on it, but there aren't really enough ratings yet to really trust this number. There's only 18 ratings, and I know that there have been some really high ratings that have been removed. And this is a miniature skirmish game and dungeon crawler. It uses action points and things like that. And they had a funding goal here of $30,000. They're currently at $194,000, so the campaign is doing really, really well, and it's going to end on July 13th. If we scroll down a little bit, I think I'd like to take a look at their pledges first for this one, and then we'll go back and watch the video. So we've got a core pledge here for $120, and if we include shipping on this, in the USA, that's 15 to 25 euros. Let's just take the high end, probably about $27, so about $147 for the core. They do have an early bird pledge price, so if this is something that interests you, whenever you come over here, if the early bird is still running, it's got a 72-hour timer on it. But when you pledge this pledge, you're getting this Amazon Gladiatrix for free. So if you come later, the early bird isn't there and you have to pledge this one, you can add on that Gladiatrix, but you're going to have to pay extra. And then we've got a deluxe pledge here for $208, or with shipping, probably about $237. And there's also an early bird for that. And then there's a retailer pledge, and then finally there is the all-in. And this is hugely expensive, so we're going to take a look and see what those components are and the various extras that you're getting to justify this. But with shipping, this pledge is going to be just shy of $570, like $568, $569, and there's also an early bird for that one as well. So let's take a look at what all this the content they're going to be getting in these pledges, right? So we've got a base, we've got a deluxe, and we've got an all-in. And everything comes with an early bird. If you do the early bird, this is the mini that you're going to be getting. But you can, I'm sure, add that on later. So here's the core pledge. This is everything you're getting for that cheaper pledge. Hero miniatures, all this stuff. And then you've got a deluxe pledge. What's in the bundle? Okay. You're really just getting 2 extra things. Like you can tell even just by looking at it, right? So here's this graphic for the base game. It is the same graphic that they're showing here. What you're getting extra are these 2 things. So you've got this Blighted Rift Spawn down here and the Goblin War Tribe down there. So those are the 2 extras you're getting, moving from the core pledge here for $120 to the deluxe for $208. It's an $88 difference for these 2 things. So the question is, are those worth $88? And then if we look at the all-in, you're going to be getting a lot of extras on top of that. So you got the core, you got the Blighted Rift Spawn, you've got the Goblin War Tribe, but you're also going to be getting this Warlord bundle. You get some upgrade cards, scheme cards, faction dice, a token set, card sleeves, all this stuff. And as we go down, we can kind of see everything they're adding in here. Right? And then the add-on prices. So if for some reason, you wanted the core and maybe one of the two things that comes in the deluxe, you can just add them on. But they're showing them in euros. So $49 for the Blighted Rift Spawn. That means it's probably like, $54 as an add-on. And then this War Tribe, same thing. So, together, they're probably around $110, but you're getting them in that pledge for like 80 something. That's the difference going from that core to the deluxe. And then we're going to take a look here at all the other things that come in the all-in here. Northern Wind components. So all the unlocks and stuff. Here we go. So these are all kind of additional add-ons that you can put in. You've got Amazons. This is the Gladiatrix that you'll be getting for free if you're an early bird backer. First edition. This is this campaign right here, the Northern Wind edition. Guildsworn Knight and Undead pack, Oni pack, Heroes pack. Here's that Goblin War Tribe, the Blighted Rift Spawn, the first edition core box, all the various add-ons that you can, all these dice packs. So a lot of these are in that all-in pack, but those are just the prices if you want to add them on. And this campaign is going to be delivering in July 2024 if I haven't mentioned it yet. But let's go back now that we've looked at everything else, and let's finish with a look at this video.
In the northern reaches of the Empire, a terror plagues the land. For decades, the demonic Oni have descended upon this land, subjecting it to their insatiable hunger. The Empire was driven to desperation, resolving to confront the unholy menace at its very heart. Yet, as they forged ahead, hope was shattered by an ambush. Amidst this harrowing scene, 4 heroes stand torn between duty and despair. True salvation lies in conquering Mount Bjordal, where darkness reigns supreme. The chilling call of the northern wind.
Okay, now one thing to know about this is that this is a standalone game, so this is not an expansion that you need this Eldfall Chronicles to play. This plays by itself, right? It's a standalone game. It's not a simple expansion. And I'd like to do one last thing here. This, the Chronicles, the all-in. Let's take one final look at this. There's something I want to confirm here. Yeah, so part of the reason this is so expensive, $541, is that you are getting not only the new game, Northern Wind, you are getting the original game as well, Eldfall Chronicles. So this is literally everything kind of from both campaigns and both games, along with all of those, a lot of extras. All right, that is Eldfall Chronicles. Now, it's still a newer publisher, right? There, like we've mentioned, there's some risk involved with this. And if you're looking for a dungeon crawler that has a lot less risk, then you may want to consider heading over to Backerkit. There's no campaigns this week on GameFound. Everything's on Kickstarter, except for this one campaign, which is on Backerkit. And this is the Gloomhaven Grand Festival. And this is a hell of a campaign because there are like 4 different things that they're doing simultaneously with this. They've created a Gloomhaven role-playing game. So you can back that Gloomhaven role-playing game. Let's get rid of this. Through this. They've also got a second edition of Gloomhaven. And it's tweaked, it's upgraded. There's some new art. There's a lot of things that have been tweaked. I don't think that if you have Gloomhaven, you need to go and get the new Gloomhaven second edition. There is an upgrade pack that will upgrade some of the mechanics and art and cards and things like that, but it won't upgrade everything. But I think it would be wasteful to completely replace your first edition with second edition. But if you don't have Gloomhaven at all, then you probably, if you're thinking of getting it, you want to go for this new second edition. So we've got the RPG, we've got the upgrade pack, or a partial upgrade pack, going from first to second edition Gloomhaven. We've got the new second edition of Gloomhaven. We've got Frosthaven that's also being offered through this. And then finally there is an enormous amount of miniatures that you can get. Now, you could get the miniatures just for the role-playing game. If you're going to be playing, like it's a role-playing game. It's basically like the Gloomhaven version of Dungeons and Dragons. So if you want to have all of these miniatures for your Gloomhaven role-playing game campaign, you can just get all the miniatures and have them for the role-playing game. But all of these miniatures are also intended for the various versions of Gloomhaven. So there's a set of miniatures for Jaws of the Lion. There's a set for Gloomhaven itself. There's a set for Forgotten Circles, and there's a set for Frosthaven. And one of the interesting things about the Haven series is that normally, in the past, historically, the player characters that you're playing with are miniatures, and the monsters are standees. So it's a little bit cheaper to produce, and it takes up a little bit less space because you don't have miniatures for all of the enemies. And personally, I think the standees that they use for the enemies in Gloomhaven are really awesome, and they have really cool art. But if you want miniatures now for all of those standees, if you want miniatures for all of your enemies in all of your Gloomhaven games, you can do that. And it's a lot of miniatures, and it's going to make the cost of Gloomhaven a lot more. And I think something that you'll need to think about is, if you're not someone who paints miniatures, is it actually better to get the miniatures, or is it better to stick with the standees that have great art and really, really pop? So it's kind of an interesting question, because I like the standee aspect of Gloomhaven, and I think it helps it get played, and I think the art for those standees is really, really good. But you can really expand this game now if you want to have miniatures for everything. And I'm not going to go over all of the shipping for this, because the shipping is so variable, and there's so many things you can get. We're not even really looking at one game here, right? You've got Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, you've got Frosthaven, you've got the upgrade pack, you've got the RPG box, you've got all the miniatures. So shipping is going to be a little bit crazy and all over the place. But just let's look at the various things here first. So we've got the Gloomhaven RPG core book for $30. We've got the RPG deluxe box set for $90. And that's going to give you all of these extra things, right? So this just gives you the core rulebook. This is going to get you 16 class ability card decks, 16 class modifier decks, ancestry ability card decks, base modifier decks, 50 background cards, a Gloommaster screen, 6 element trackers, deluxe battle chest box to hold it all in glorious comfort. And something that should be more obvious from this is that the RPG is still going to use the card play. That's why you've got all of these cards for it. It's not just going to be pen and paper, Dungeons and Dragons clone, with dice rolling. You're still going to have some of that Gloomhaven card play in the RPG. Now, if we go down here, we can see that the Gloomhaven 2nd Edition is $130. This is for the new version of the game with all of the upgrades. And then we're going to get down into the miniatures. So if you want miniatures for your entire old version of Gloomhaven or new version of Gloomhaven, $130 for these. There is a second printing now for Frosthaven, so this is the game for $180. And then they have the full set of miniatures of Gloomhaven. So this is going to include miniatures for Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, Jaws of the Lion, and Forgotten Circles. And this ultimate Gloomhaven set includes the new second edition of Gloomhaven, plus all of these new miniatures for Gloomhaven. Not the Frosthaven ones, not Jaws of the Lion, not Forgotten Circles, but all of the stuff for Gloomhaven. The big one here, this price, is going to give you the Gloomhaven second edition base game, and then all of the miniatures. All of them, for everything. And this isn't even everything, right? Because this doesn't include Frosthaven. It doesn't include the RPG. It just includes Gloomhaven and all of the miniatures. And then we can see everything kind of broken out by add-on. So you've got Gloomhaven second edition. You've got a removable sticker set for second edition. You've got the solo scenarios. And here is this upgrade pack. So this is what a lot of people are going to be interested in, I think. So if you have first edition of the game and you want to upgrade it to second edition, it's not going to upgrade everything, but it is going to upgrade the class boxes and their contents with rebalanced and redesigned counterparts, some with new art and graphic design. There's also a new foreteller audio narration for the second edition, since there are some things that are being changed in the story and in the scenarios. So this is all 101 scenarios for the new second edition. You've got a new folded space organizer for second edition, which I think they say can also be used with Frosthaven. And here, there's the map tile archive. You've also got a second printing of Frosthaven. A second printing, obviously different from a second edition. So this is just a second printing of Frosthaven, just more Frosthaven, more copies. You've got the play surface books. You've got solo scenarios for Frosthaven, removable stickers, foreteller audio narration for Frosthaven, a map tile archive for Frosthaven, so you can keep all of your map tiles in one place, folded space organizer for Frosthaven, a Lacerox organizer for Frosthaven, and then we get back to the role-playing game here with the core book, the complete card set, kind of everything combined here, this deluxe box set. This is for your Gloom master screen and element trackers. Then you've got miniatures of Gloomhaven. This is the base set. This is the summons set. This is the mercenary set. This is the Frosthaven expansion set, the Frosthaven summon set, Forgotten Circles, and Jaws of the Lion. So there's just so much stuff. Let's see what it says in shipping. Let's see how they break it down. All right, so in the continental US here, the shipping lines up, but there's just a lot of different levels. The RPG core book is $12. They don't actually have a shipping price for the upgrade pack, which I think a lot of people probably just be coming here for the upgrade pack itself. But I'm guessing shipping is probably going to be about the same as the core book, possibly as much as the deluxe set, but somewhere in between 12 and 20 probably. Shipping for either Frosthaven or Gloomhaven is $30. The miniatures base set is $20. The ultimate Gloomhaven set with kind of all that stuff, all the miniatures, that's $70. The full miniature set, just the miniatures, not including Gloomhaven second edition, is $30. And then the big one with everything is $80. Just a lot of stuff. I mean, this is a hard campaign to track because they've got Frosthaven, Gloomhaven second edition, the role-playing game, and all of these new miniatures. They've got sales tax amounts. If you live in the US, you want to see what the sales tax is going to be by state. They've got VAT tax down here. And then they have a timeline, which is worth looking at. So if you're only backing RPG stuff, if you're only interested in that, that's going to deliver around July 2024. If you're looking at the miniatures, those are coming around January 2025. If you're curious about the new second edition of Gloomhaven, that's March of 2024. And then if you're just trying to get some, Frosthaven, the latest printing, that's going to come much earlier in October of this year. So we've got 4 different delivery windows. The furthest out being the miniatures, which are in 2025. The earliest one, the new printing of Frosthaven, that's going to be this year. And then you've got second edition Gloomhaven and the RPG kind of close together between March and July of 2024. So there's just a lot of different information in this campaign since they're kind of doing 4 different things, but hopefully that highlights enough of it. Now, I skipped over everything at the start, so let's go back and take a look at that. They have a funding goal here of $2 million, which that's a lot of money, right? But they are doing multiple big Gloomhaven campaigns with this. They're almost there. They have plenty of time to get there. They will easily pass this by the time the campaign ends on July 19th. And this campaign, as well as the remaining two that we'll be talking about, these all launched on June 20th. Now, we're going to take a look at this video from Cephalophera Games, which is not really posted on the main page since they're doing so much live streaming, but this should give us an idea of everything that's involved in this campaign.
I've been obsessed with belts for a long time. I wear a belt every day, and there was like 3 things that I always...
As described by Isaac Childress instead of just me.
Welcome to the Gloomhaven Grand Festival, a rare gathering that brings in wares from across the world, products that will surely delight even the most hardened mercenary. We're so happy you've joined us for this spectacular month-long event. Come with me on a tour of some of our more exciting stalls. First, we have the Gloomhaven role-playing game. The deluxe box set features a core rulebook, a Gloom Master screen, and card sets for all 16 classes and 8 ancestries. The RPG sets the innovative tactical combat of Gloomhaven with a solid role-playing framework, giving you everything you need to create and play your own adventures in our world. Or how about our full miniature set? The core box includes over 250 miniatures, all the monsters and bosses in Gloomhaven, and these can be expanded with other sets to bring in all the monsters, bosses, and summons from Gloomhaven, Forgotten Circles, Jaws of the Lion, and Frosthaven. Over 600 miniatures, which can be used not only in board games, but to enhance your RPG sessions as well. And did you know there is a second edition of the original Gloomhaven game as well, sporting far more than just a fresh coat of paint? All the classes, monsters, and scenarios have been rebalanced. All new stories and events have been written. And there's all the quality of life updates seen in Frosthaven, like the scenario flowcharts, sleek iconography, extended battle goals, and more. There is also a new faction reputation system that helps guarantee this is something worth checking out, whether you're new to Gloomhaven or a returning traveler. If you're here for some of our older wares or the second printing of Frosthaven, you can find those here as well. You can also join in the celebration with streams and polls all throughout the month. We invite you to enjoy the Gloomhaven Grand Festival.
Pretty cool. So that's the Gloomhaven Grand Festival. Really all of your Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, Haven needs. And that campaign is over on Backerkit. We've got 2 more campaigns to go. The first of these is called Nestlings. And this is a dice placement and set collection game. This is another simpler game by a newer publisher. And they had a funding goal here of $36,000. They're currently at $27,000. But as I like to often say, usually campaigns do about 2/3 of their business in the first 48 hours and about 1/3 of their business in the last 24 hours, which means that this will likely fund before the campaign ends on July 21st. So I'm fairly certain that this will end up funding. And we can see over here that they're going to deliver this one in March of 2024. And unlike Gloomhaven, there's just one delivery date. There's not 4 different delivery dates. Let's watch this video first, and then we'll look at the 3 different pledges.
Get ready to spread your wings and take to the skies in Nestlings. As one of 4 unique feathered species, you will compete to gain priority across 4 vastly different biomes: savanna, alpine, freshwater, and desert. Each one teeming with an array of unique resources for you to collect. As you roll and place your custom biome dice, you'll need to carefully consider your next move in order to outsmart your avian competitors. But watch out, your opponents will be hot on your tail, vying for the same resources and using cunning tactics to outmaneuver you at every turn. As the game progresses, the tension builds, and every decision becomes crucial. Will you play it safe and stay close to your nest, or compete for the resources needed to secure one of the elusive gathering goals? With stunning artwork, immersive gameplay, and endless strategic possibilities, Nestlings is the perfect game for anyone looking for a challenging and rewarding gaming experience. Will you soar to victory, or be left grounded in defeat? The choice is yours in Nestlings.
All right, and as I mentioned, they have 3 different pledges for this one, not including the $1 Pledge Manager pledge. You've got a Bird Enthusiast Standard Edition for $39. If we put shipping on top of that, that's going to bring this to about $59. And why is that so expensive? This is coming from the US. This is a US publisher. It's a newer publisher. So, they've built a lot into that shipping. Maybe more than you or I would like to pay, because, this is basically a third the total cost. Shipping again is half the cost of the game. And this is not a Japanese publisher. This is not being produced and shipping from Germany like some of the other campaigns we've talked about in the last couple of weeks. This is actually from the US. So that is a very high price amount, and that might be one of the things that may stop some people from backing it. There's a deluxe edition here for $79 with shipping, $99 in the continental US. And then there's this Bird Expert pledge that's also going to include some dice trays. And so with shipping, that one would be about $119. Now, if we go up a little bit higher, let's take a look at these pledges and see what you're getting for those rates. So here's the standard edition. Game board, gathering goal board, bird meeples, player boards, stamina tokens, biome cards, dice, bags, first player token, resources and worms, all this stuff. If we go down a little bit further here is the deluxe edition. So you're getting bird miniatures at this level, you're getting dual layer player boards, and you're getting these standing bags. Also, a custom insert, a game trays like insert. And all of these wooden resources. So instead of the cardboard in the standard version, you're getting wood resources and wood biome segments. And all of these point tokens as well. All of this stuff is going to be cardboard in the standard version of the game. Then if you go to the most expensive pledge, you're still getting the deluxe version of the game, but then you're also getting these 4 dice trays. So that is the difference between the 99 version and the 79 version. So there's still going to be $20 shipping on top of this, right? So it's $109, but you're paying $20. That's the difference here for these 4 dice trays. So you're paying about $5 a dice tray there. And Nestlings is going to deliver in March of 2024. So that brings us to our final game of the period. This one is called Waypoints. And let's look at this over here first, because Waypoints is co-designed by Matthew Dunstan, who's a designer that I'm really beginning to like quite a bit. And you may know Matthew from, a lot of games: Elysium, the Guild of Merchant Explorers, Pioneer Days, Chocolate Factory, some adventure games, including The Dungeon, Monumental, Relic Runners, Village Rails, there's another adventure game, Monochrome, Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time, and now we're starting to get into some of his lesser-known designs. My Shelfie, Aquamarine, Vivid Memories. I actually backed this one. So Matthew has done a lot of designs. This campaign, however, though, is for a roll and write. So this is actually very, very cheap. This is a great, a good designer, which I've tried to highlight, but a very cheap campaign because it's a print and play and it's a roll and write. So you're looking at $6, no shipping. So if you're just looking for a fun, good design that's not going to break the bank, I present to you Waypoints. And this one will deliver, pretty much, let's see what they say, July 2023. So, the campaign will end. They'll probably need a week or two to process, and then they'll release those files, and you'll have it. You don't need to wait for anything to be shipped. Okay, let's take a look at the video. But before we do that, quickly, the funding goal here is at 1,300. They're at 16,000 almost, so this is funded. It launched June 20th. Campaign's going to end on July 2nd. And here's your opportunity to get a well-designed, cheap roll and write. And here's how it plays. So that was the final campaign of this week's video. Thank you very much for joining me and taking a look at these campaigns with me. Don't forget, I will be appearing live on Gaming Rules on July 2nd. That is noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. East Coast time, and 8 p.m. British Standard Time. And I'll have one more video that will come out before that stream. I'll be back next Friday, just like every Friday now, with a new crowdfunding roundup video, taking a look at all of the launches from the previous week that I feel are worthwhile passing along to you. Until then, have a great week, play lots of great games, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.